So, good morning, America. Good evening, Europe. Cities account for 70% of the global carbon dioxide emissions in the world. Buildings account for 39% of all CO2 emissions during its complete life cycle. It's about time to put data to work to address the carbon dioxide. My name is Mats Pettersson. I'm the CEO of Sensative. And today I will present the way forward together with my friend Thomas Kvistmo at IMEC to create a sustainable world. Is data the new oil? The oil industry has invested in oil rigs, distribution networks, standards, quality assurance programs, and refinement plants to be able to share oil with their customers. In order to harvest the value of data, we believe that we need to build a corresponding infrastructure so that data can be shared with data consumers in an efficient way. We need to move from this fragmented and function-oriented smart city with loads of locked-in data islands that we have today and we are used to have today, and move into a smart city with common data distribution networks, standards, data assurance, and business models to create the digital infrastructure where data can be fully used and shared to create the sustainable society that we all would like to have. Sensative and IMEC propose that every digital journey starts by thinking big. Thinking about how would you like your digital infrastructure to look like and work a couple of years from now, maybe 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead, in order for you to excel in the digital world with automation supported by AI, creating new values for you and your customers, and become a truly data-driven organization. We believe in open modular designs built upon standards to create the digitalization infrastructure, where data can be managed and used by you, but also shared by you to others to provide even more insights and better automation and connecting our digital world with the real world that we care so much about. With such open modular digitalization platforms, you will also be able to scale your digital transformation journey step by step by just adding new functions and new services and building your system, so to say, of digitalization. And by this approach, you can now start small and scale up. And that gives you the possibility to enter the journey of the digitalization in your own speed. This is a practical example of what we are right now working with together with 2 customers in Sweden. It's a real estate company having several energy systems. In fact, actually 3 energy systems. There is district heating. There is a traditional HVAC system, heating, ventilation, and AC. And finally, on top of that, a low voltage grid with solar cell power. And there might be 3 different suppliers of these systems. And as a real estate company, and all of us as a society, of course, would like this to work in the best possible way to create a sustainable world and use the most efficient energy at all times. In order to do this, Sensative we connect our platform to all those 3 systems, and using the possibility to share data between the real estate company and all 3 energy suppliers in such a way that we can actually manage to control which of those energy systems or energy providing companies that are doing what part and when in supplying the energy and heating or cooling of buildings. But that's not so easy today, because this is reality in most buildings today. Because the real estate company, by tradition, have been outsourcing the digital services to fabulous suppliers or providers of digital services. The disadvantage with that, now when we enter the digital era, is there is a number of vertical services. And those vertical services, in order to start sharing data, you need to do backend integrations. And you end up with a spaghetti of backend integrations trying to share data between the services and to make this working as a system. We propose instead a different solution with a common data pipeline or infrastructure in order to access both the data, IoT, and the digital legacy systems as heating, ventilation, and AC. And on top of that, providing open APIs and standard data models so that a multitude of many digital and data-driven services and applications can be connected and use or utilize the data in order to provide the value and create a more sustainable world. On top of that, we also set up this system in such a way that the real estate company, which in practice is the data owner, can share the access to both the data and access to devices in the building with others, so that other parties can also use this data in order to create even larger value by benchmarking or creating a larger system with many buildings and energy suppliers and so forth. This common pipeline that you see here, you could actually see it as an operating system for a smart building. And you can see the services as apps in a very similar way as you have apps in a mobile phone or a smartphone. And those apps then connect to data and things through the operating system. And by doing that, we create a system where it enables the real estate company and everyone else in the city to start optimizing the environment. Obviously, with such a system, a unified management operating system, the real estate company will now be able to manage the complete portfolio, independent of what kind of vertical systems and what kind of hardware you have in each building. You combine everything into the unified platform, a unified operating system, so that you can create a systematic way of working and create value. An example of that where Sensative have been working with Thomas Kvistmo and IMEC is Akelius. It's a large Swedish real estate company with 1,000 buildings both in North America and in Europe. And Akelius is a customer that actually started to think big and realized that they needed to have a common data infrastructure in order to manage all the buildings globally. But they also had the understanding and good thinking that they should build this step by step. So we started together by just adding a very simple temperature and humidity sensor in each apartment in all the buildings in Sweden. And by just doing that, that opened up the possibility to start controlling the temperature in the building much more efficient by knowing the temperature in the coldest as well as in the hottest apartment in the building. And by being able to act on those buildings and isolate them or adding energy to them. That opened up the possibility for Akelius to actually decrease the average temperature in the building, as the temperature was much more precise in every building. And the result of that was that they could lower the average temperature, resulting in 4% saving of energy costs per degree lower temperature. The next step now for Akelius, of course, is to start adding functionality step by step in exactly the path and the speed that is suitable for Akelius in order to build a complete digitalization system. Another benefit for Akelius with our temperature and humidity sensor in the first step here is it enables Akelius customer care to be able to respond very quickly to tenants when tenants call and is concerned about the climate in the apartment. Maybe it's too cold, it's too hot, but Akelius knows exactly the temperature, and I could also see if the temperature has fluctuated the last 24 hours or last week, and be able to respond to the tenants. Sensative is growing rapidly. We started working with our platform that is called Yggyo in Sweden a number of years ago, and 2 years ago we deployed the first smart building using our platform in Sweden. 2020 was a year for us to start expanding in Europe and in USA. And we even established Sensative Inc. in Florida in February this year. Unfortunately, as you know, there is a pandemic running in the world, and we are right now waiting for the pandemic to move on so that we can move over Sensative into US. With that, I have described how Sensative is working with digitalization to create a more sustainable world. And I would like to hand over to my friend, Thomas Kvistmo at IMEC, to describe what you're doing with buildings to create a sustainable world.
Okay. Thomas, unmute him.
So I was just exercising. Thank you, Matt. So let's put some modular, environmental, and energy into this. We say that modular zero energy design is the clue actually to make the efficiency and profitable sustainability. We start with industrial production of passive house buildings, smart BMS systems that are integrated in the building data. That, of course, decrease the insurance, the damage cost, and prevent some actions. You can have water accidents, fire, mold, security, and so on. So that's actually the setup. So from smart building, we're going to building smart. A short overview to create this. We start with the digitalization, geothermal heating and cooling, solar panels, green electricity, of course. Solid climate shell is one of the most important things. Good insulation, and even a very low leakage of air. An efficient system for exchanging energy in the air handling unit up to 90%. In the sewage system, we exchange as well. We have some very interesting reference projects that we have been working with in Sweden. So first, what we're working with now is Electrolux headquarters in Stockholm. The project has a goal to be CO2 neutral by 2050, and that is really a challenge. And it contains all the efforts and the parts that you can make a good impact on. A couple of years ago, the Vattenfall's headquarters, we managed to get to 3 kilowatt hours per square feet in year, the Green Building Award Europe 2012. Then it has been running for 3 years. So it's actual figures. In Nacka, we have the Environmental Prize 2018 by creating a Plus Energy House. Lidl's headquarters is under construction now. So from this 3 kilowatt hours per square feet in a year in Vattenfall, we're now down to 2 kilowatt hours per square feet in a year. BREEAM excellent. In existing conference area, we halved the energy consumption and got the E-Prize Sweden in 2012. So it's possible to do this. Then we come into the modular and the building homes company. It's kind of a smart construction, smart building tech. We started the production, we build modular, we have zero energy solution, the design for that. And what we create is a guaranteed lifetime quality. That's cost over time. And by the way, it gets faster and at a lower cost. This is a building that's been raised this summer. It's in Stockholm. So a little bit about the time schedule here. Number one, handshake. Oh, can you do that now? Maybe not. But from the order, day one, we have the design 2 months, production about 3 months in the factory, transport 2 months, assembly on site 1 month. So actually 1 apartment per hour. So basically 8 apartments per day. And then we have the on-site work, that is roof and facade, approximately 2 months. So then in total, less than a year, 10 months is the standard. Then you can move in. Levels of energy consumption, of course, based on the regulations. We have the LEED Silver, LEED Platinum, the Building Homes Standard House, and then we have the Building Homes Smart and connected to solar energy. Then we can create this Plus Energy House. In figures, 4 diagrams. To the left, purchase energy. The blue one is the regulations, the green one is what we normally design for. Number 2, total cost over time. So we see the green line is quite low. Diagram number 3, environmental impact. You see it's quite a big difference there. And then what some people think about looking for, it's a raised real estate value. So we see that as a direct impact on the real estate value. Just an example, if you save $1 for the running cost per year, you increase the value of the building about 20 to 25 times. So you can invest quite a bit and you get it back on the real estate value. Well, this is supposed to be the total system. We have modular, small, that Mats talked about. We have a tiny, bigger modulars. These are the buildings. And when they integrate, they can be more efficient. So modular by design in digitalization and buildings, then you can optimize. And then we can create this sustainability is profitable. Well, let data work. Now we have data at work. This is a same building. We have sensors in them. You can see the temperature. So building smart and sustainable is not a distant vision. We do it right now. We do it in Sweden. And we're ready for the USA. Are you ready for us? A factory, maybe. A factory in USA. Thank you for listening.